Happening now, new clues are coming to light in the hunt for Michael Burham. And we hear from a PA State Trooper on the support coming in while searching for an escaped prisoner. Plus, sad news from a Chautauqua County K-9 who passed away from medical complications.
Live and on demand, this is WNY News Now.
Thank you for joining us for WNY News Now. I'm Bronson Rasmussen. Those stories and more are coming up, but first, new clues have turned up in the hunt for an escaped inmate in Pennsylvania. Authorities revealed Thursday searches recovered some bags wrapped in a tarp they say almost certainly belonged to Michael Burham. Now the items contained in the bags include food, clothes, and other supplies authorities said would help someone trying to live in the woods. Now Burham broke out of the Warren County Prison last Thursday night. That is in the northwestern part of the state. Now police say that Burham is dangerous. He was jailed on arson and burglary charges and was a suspect in a Jamestown murder. They say that he has survivalist skills and military training. Police are currently offering a $22,000 reward for information that leads to his capture. And now currently there are more than 200 law enforcement officers out looking for Burham. Continuing coverage, over a week has passed since Michael Burham escaped from a Warren County jail. With the manhunt moving west, the community is doing everything they can to help officers looking for the fugitive. Police have moved the manhunt for Burham west. While police cannot confirm to us that Burham is in that area, the heavy law enforcement presence shows that the investigation has led them to Youngsville. Since moving to the rural Pennsylvania area, many donations have been given to law enforcement. Now we spoke to Trooper Cindy Schitt, who told us that multiple local businesses and community members have donated drinks and snacks for the manhunt. The community service officer tells us that the donations came from community members who just want to help.
The community here in Youngsville and the outskirts have been very supportive of us, not just community members, but the businesses. They're providing us with drinks and also food. Every day we're bringing in bottles of water, snacks that the guys and girls can grab before they go out for the searches. So every day they're bringing in a variety of things for us, between bottled water, Gatorade, snacks for the guys and girls to take out when they're searching. And also they're providing meals for our law enforcement as well. Pizza Hut's donated, Dairy Queen's donated, just to name a couple of the businesses.
Now at this time, police say that they have received a plethora of supplies from the public and are no longer taking donations. Now the trooper would also like to remind individuals to stay vigilant, and if you see anything, don't be afraid to call any tip line. In other news, an annual community donation drive for Jamestown's only soup kitchen raised a record amount this year. The 2-month campaign raised a record amount of $32,508, comparative to last year's almost $26,700. The Jamestown Board of Public Utilities takes the initiative every year to raise funds for the ever-growing needs of the soup kitchen. Now this year, the BPU's hot dog sale also raised a record amount for the St. Susan's Center with $1,120. We spoke to the director of St. Susan's, Sherry Rowland, on the importance of Jamestown's only soup kitchen.
We have seen an uptick of folks coming in. We're averaging about 245 people each day that we're serving. And it's been awesome that we've had the support of the campaign for Sense for St. Susan's.
Since the campaign began in 2000, the collection efforts have gathered a total of $340,119.54 for the St. Susan Center. A beloved member of the Lakewood Bustye Police Department and the Castleman family K-9 officer, Sarge, unfortunately passed away due to an unknown and unexpected health challenge. Now the department is hosting a spaghetti dinner and a GoFundMe page to help the grieving family with medical costs. Our Alyssa Wright has more.
Sarge, just the day we picked him out, he was the most goofy dog there, and he was the happiest and like the friendliest dog in the world. And I was like, I want that one right there.
Originally, it was believed that Sarge may have just been overheated. However, after taking the proper measures to cool him down at the vet, that was not the case.
So I took him back to the vet. They were able to figure out that one of dogs have on their left side, left lung, they have 4 lobes. They found one of the lobes had been twisted. And once they twist, they don't come back. They don't untwist by themselves. They have to go in there and remove them. So that night he had emergency surgery to remove the lung lobe, and then he, stayed there for a few more days, was able to come home and seemed to be doing pretty good. He actually was home for a couple weeks, and they removed his staples and everything, and they cleared him to go back to work. So this training we went back to was very, very easy, basically just letting him run around in buildings to get comfortable.
After being home for a while, Castleman noticed that Sarge's abdomen seemed to be filling with fluid.
They drained 3 liters of fluid out of him. After another day, they sent him home. After being home for a day, looked at him again, he was filling up. I went back to Orchard Park. They sent us to Philadelphia.
Unfortunately, Sarge passed away earlier in the week due to these ongoing medical issues.
They never really figured out exactly what was causing it, and hopefully they're going to get some answers. After he passed away, they were going to do an autopsy and just see if we could figure out what exactly the issues were. Really, just a thank you to everybody in the community, everybody around that's donated and sent their thoughts and prayers to us in the department, and really appreciate it.
The spaghetti dinner for K-9 Officer Sarge will be held on Saturday at the Lakewood Fire Department Training Grounds beginning at 1 p.m. Those interested in helping with medical expenses can also donate to Sarge's GoFundMe page. In Jamestown, New York, Alyssa Wright, WNY News Now.
Alyssa, thank you. It's always such a hard topic to see when an officer is no longer with us, especially a K-9. But switching gears a little bit, we'll get a check of our first weather forecast with Chief Weather Forecaster Andrew Stevenson.
We start off with a live look first defense top of the radar out right now. Beautiful day out there so far. Partly to mostly sunny skies across the region. Not many clouds to report of. No rain to report of. It's actually going to be a beautiful day out there, but we do have some more rain in the forecast, and it's going to come over the weekend. Let's take a look at current conditions in downtown Jamestown, if I can get it to come up here. Currently in downtown Jamestown, partly sunny skies, 72 degrees is the current temperature at the Jamestown Airport as of the noon hour, with a west wind at 5 miles per hour, and the dew point is at 56, so it's not feeling too bad out there. Pretty comfortable out there today, although the dew points will be going up over the weekend. Taking a look at the almanac, we made it to a high of 73 degrees yesterday in the city of Jamestown. Our low for the day was 60, and the records for the day, record high 95 set back in 1936, and the record low of 40 set back in 1926. So here's your first defense weather forecast through the rest of the afternoon out there. Going to be a beautiful day out there for any outdoor activities. Partly to mostly sunny skies. Cannot rule out a small chance, like a 10 to 15% chance of an isolated shower, mainly across the inland southern tier. But other than that, it's going to be a beautiful day out there. Temperatures will be in the mid to upper 70s, a little cooler near the lake shore, with temperatures near 80 inland from the lakes. I'll have a look at a full forecast, including when the rain is coming over the weekend, coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, Andrew, thank you very much. Maybe we should do the rest of the news outside. As WNY News Now continues, we have the story of a month-old cow suffering from neglect. Later, we look into a new over-the-counter birth control medication. Stay with us, as WNY News Now will be right back.
Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now.
EagleZip.com is your local one-stop shop for all of your home and business computer needs. Located on Fluvan Avenue Extension, just outside of Jamestown, EagleZip.com sells and services all brands of desktops and laptops, as well as servers and network equipment for your business. All new computer sales include transferring your data from your old computer, plus a 2-year warranty. Call EagleZip.com today.
Stop by EagleZip.com today and let us make computers easy for you.
3-on-3 basketball returns to Jamestown, New York this summer. Collaborative Children's Solutions and partners are hosting a Gus Macker tournament August 19th and 20th in Brooklyn Square. The streets will be packed with a festival atmosphere, bringing the youngest of our Macker mites up to the adult players who compete for the top prize in their divisions. Register online at Macker.com before July 31st. The Jamestown Macker will also include some specialty competitions, making it one of the best community events of the year.
Honorary Forest Ranger Betty White here, lending a hand to my dear friend Smokey Bear. Because for years, he's only said,
only you can prevent wildfires.
But there's a lot more to say. Like, if you park your car on tall, dry grass, the hot exhaust pipe can start a wildfire. So keep the animals safe, especially the cute shirtless one. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
The FBI director is defending the search of former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago home in testimony before lawmakers Wednesday. Now they tell the House Judiciary Committee agents wore plainclothes and tried to be discreet. This is his response to questioning from Democratic Representative Jerry Nadler of New York.
I would not call it a raid. I would call it the execution of a lawful search warrant.
Can you describe how the search was executed?
Well, we had the case team, follow its standard procedure. It has sometimes been described as a SWAT operation. It was not. There was no SWAT involvement.
Now the director is denouncing allegations investigators overstepped the search for political reasons or wanted it to make Trump look bad. In other news, a bull calf named Norman is going on to greener pastures after being neglected by his owners. The 1-month-old from Madison County wasn't being fed, according to a report by his neighbor. Soon after that, Norman's owner signed him over to the Central New York SPCA. The animal shelter, typically the home to cats and dogs, is now giving this utterly adorable creature a pasture to roam. Norman will stay at the CNY SPCA for about a week, and then he'll be sent out to a farm to live out the rest of his life with other cows roaming the pasture. According to shelter staff, Norman's previous owner is being investigated for possible animal neglect. In other news, President Joe Biden has returned to the U.S. Thursday after securing a stronger NATO alliance and affirming U.S. resolve to back Ukraine as Russia's war rages on. At a Nordic summit in Finland, the president didn't mince words for Russian President Vladimir Putin, confident that the success of this week's NATO summit will help drive Ukrainian victory on the battlefield. Laura Aguirre brings us more on the day's events.
The United States is committed to Finland, committed to NATO, and those commitments are rock solid.
A powerful message delivered on Russia's doorstep. President Joe Biden meeting with Nordic leaders in Finland, a country that shares more than 800 miles of border with Russia and is the newest member of NATO's growing alliance.
We'll defend every inch of NATO territory.
Not yet in NATO is Ukraine, but they're closer than ever. This week, the alliance agreed to streamline Ukraine's application process once the war with Russia ends.
Putin's already lost the war. Putin has a real problem.
NATO is also boosting Ukraine's finances and firepower with a substantial new aid package. Controversial cluster munitions from the U.S. arrived in that country Thursday.
You'll see that Ukraine makes significant progress on their offensive and that it generates a negotiated settlement.
Others are not yet convinced.
I don't think it's over, despite the fact that the administration has said that Putin's already lost. I'm not sure he accepts that.
With Sweden now on deck to join NATO and a wave of new military weaponry heading to Ukraine, the pressure won't ease on Russia anytime soon.
Will we stay committed to our course? This week, Finland, the United States, and our allies and partners said a resounding, loud yes.
I'm Laura Aguirre reporting.
Having wrapped his multi-day trip overseas, President Biden is back in Washington. While in Finland, the president downplayed concerns that President Putin would deploy nuclear weapons following a failed mutiny by the leader of the Wagner private military group last month. Now Russia has the world's largest arsenal of nuclear weapons, according to the Federation of American Scientists. A U.S. official said in March that the State Department has not found any indications Russia is preparing to use a nuclear weapon. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has approved the first over-the-counter birth control pill. The oral contraceptive, O-pill, will be available without a prescription at drugstores, grocery stores, and online. The manufacturer is determining the price and when it will actually be on the shelves. Now, the FDA says when used as directed, the daily pill is safe and is expected to be more effective than other non-prescription methods. During testing, the most common side effect was irregular bleeding, headaches, dizziness, nausea, increased appetite, cramps, or bloating. While a major shift for federal student loan borrowers and the U.S. economy is on the horizon, this fall, millions of federal student loan borrowers will need to make their first payment since March of 2020, when a pandemic pause took effect. Karen Kafia has a look at the economic impact and options for borrowers.
After a 3-year pandemic pause, federal student loan interest will begin to accrue again in September and payments will resume in October. A recent study by Moody's Analytics found as many as 5 million student loan borrowers will need to resume average payments of close to $275 per month and warned of an economic slowdown as borrowers shift budget priorities. Other economists, like John Diamond of Rice University's Baker Institute Center for Public Finance, say the dialing back of consumer spending will help further ease inflation.
I think at the end of the day, whatever positive effect we would have seen from increased consumption would have been offset by the Fed raising rates a little more than they would have to otherwise.
During the shift, Diana Furchtgott-Roth, former chief economist at the Labor Department during the George W. Bush administration, says borrowers have a strong job market on their side.
It's a great time to be looking for a job. Yes, they have to repay their student loans, but on the other hand, there are all these jobs available, both in the public and in the private sector.
The Biden administration has rolled out new options for borrowers ahead of fall repayments. Some will be eligible for a new income-driven repayment plan that could lower monthly bills and reduce the overall amount paid back over the lifetime of a loan. For those meeting certain income thresholds, monthly payments could be as low as $0. Some parts of the program take effect this summer, others in July 2024.
Coming up, we have our Pet of the Week segment. And later, a major development in Hollywood as 2 parties have begun to strike. But first, we return with a look at our full weather forecast.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
I don't think that many kids in my son's school even do it.
He makes fun of his friend who vapes.
He would never try it.
She's into soccer.
She's on the honor roll.
She's just not the type.
No way.
No way.
No way.
No way, my kid would never vape.
Get your head out of the cloud. Today, nearly 8,000 kids will start vaping, maybe even yours. Learn about the dangers at talkaboutvaping.org.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over.
Move over.
When you see signs,
Lights.
Vests.
please give us some room.
Slow down.
Slow down and move over. When you need help,
It's our job
To help you.
to save you.
despite the danger.
This danger is real. Do your part.
Please
Slow down. Slow down. And move over.
move over.
How prepared is your family if a hurricane shows up at your doorstep, or a flood, or a blizzard? You can't just turn away a natural disaster. That's why it's important to go to ready.gov/plan now. It has the tools and tips you need to make an emergency plan with your family. So if disaster comes knocking,
let's go.
You'll be ready to help keep your family safe.
It's just a pizza. Yes.
Make a plan today.
Catch your First Defense forecast daily on WNY News Now.
Welcome back to WNY News Now. Well, once again, we have the chance to see some strong to severe storms heading into tomorrow as another system will drag another cold front through the region. As a result, the NOAA Storm Prediction Center has placed the entire region under a marginal risk for severe weather tomorrow as a level 1 out of 5. Now, the storm potential tomorrow is not looking over too strong, but still a couple of storms tomorrow in the afternoon and evening. Could produce some strong winds and possibly some hail, but again, it's not looking overly too strong, so we shouldn't have to deal with anything too active tomorrow. We also have an excessive rainfall marginal outlook for tomorrow, pretty much across the entire Northeast. With some of those storms tomorrow afternoon and evening, we could see some slow-moving storms that could produce some heavy rainfall and lead to some localized flooding, but again, this is only a marginal risk. Here's what's happening across the Northeast right now. That cold front that dropped through the region yesterday is currently stalled out across southern Pennsylvania. A weak ridge of high pressure will be moving into the region today and will keep us dry at least through the first half of tomorrow before again another low pressure system will bring some more showers and thunderstorms to the region later tomorrow afternoon and into tomorrow night. So let's time it out in future scan through the rest of the afternoon out there today. Generally partly to mostly sunny skies. Future scan does a good job with this. We might see an isolated shower across inland areas, but again, most of the region will be dry this afternoon and heading into night. Tomorrow we start the day off dry with partly sunny skies, but as that cold front nears the region, showers and thunderstorms will be possible tomorrow afternoon and the evening, and more widespread in the evening hours as that system moves across the region. And we'll have a few showers early on Sunday morning, and then we should be dry through the rest of Sunday afternoon. While the Jamestown Tarp Skunks are back in action tonight as they host the Auburn Double Days. They're in second place right now, so they are making a push for the playoffs. Should be a beautiful night for baseball out there. Temperatures will start in the upper 70s around first pitch at 6:30. We'll drop through the mid 70s through the rest of the night. So an absolutely beautiful night for baseball. Hopefully we'll see you out there tonight. And now the next 7 days powered by Ultimate Satellite Solutions. So the weekend, just some showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon and even early showers on Sunday. Highs this weekend will generally be in the upper 70s to lower 80s. We'll keep a chance for a few showers in the forecast on Monday, and then Tuesday and Wednesday are looking mainly dry, and we do cool off a little bit heading into the middle of next week with temperatures generally in the low to mid 70s.
All right, Andrew, thank you very much. Well, in an effort to help our animals find their forever home, WNY News Now is partnering with the Chautauqua County Humane Society in a segment called the Pet of the Week. Brian Papalea has more about this week's featured furry friend.
Hey Bronson, it's Brian from the Chautauqua County Humane Society, and this is Stitch. Stitch is a little kitten. He's about 2 months old, somewhere in that neighborhood, and he is on the prowl. He has been a little bit of a butthead to all the other kittens here in Whiskerville, and there he, oh, see, he's on the prowl again. But he has been neutered, he's microchipped, he's updated on his vaccinations, he's got a little bit of flea treatment to get started there. Now he's off to bug another kitty. So if anybody out there in Western Europe, New Zealand wants to come adopt a kitten, they can get this little bugger who's full of energy and would love to be your new pet, or they can get a more chill bugger like that little kitty over there. So there's plenty of kittens to come choose from. Stop by at the Chautauqua County Humane Society. Thank you, Bronson.
Brian, thank you. To learn more about Stitch or other residents of the shelter, be sure to contact the Chautauqua County Humane Society at 716-665-2209 or to visit chqhumane.org. Well, coming up next, we look at changes coming to the big screen as 2 important parties are striking.
You're watching WNY News Now, your source for breaking news. WNY News Now is covering stories that matter to you.
15-year-old Yadiel Diaz was subject to a public humiliation stunt by a fellow student in an act of violence and bullying. Now Yadiel's mother, Raquel, has had enough.
Officials are trying to work with the county's homeless coalition to help support the homeless population locally. There are also plans in the works to build 2 new shelters.
WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Hi everyone, Al Roker here. As a guy with his own catchphrase, I appreciate that Smokey's only said,
"Only you can prevent wildfires."
But I'm filling in because there's a lot more to report. Like when there are parched or windy conditions out there, you gotta be extra careful with things like burning yard waste. After all, wildfires can start anywhere, even in your neck of the woods. Go to SmokeyBear.com to learn more about wildfire prevention.
Right here, baby. Look. Uma.
Something more than a birthday is happening here. Once you can see it, you can help. The sooner you recognize the signs of autism, the sooner you can make a lifetime of difference for your child. Start by answering a few simple questions at screenforautism.org.
You're watching WNY News Now, where coverage comes first.
Hollywood Entertainment has just written its biggest plot twist in more than half a century. The union, representing 160,000 actors, voted Thursday to go on strike at midnight. And when they do, it'll be the first time since 1960 actors and writers have been on strike at the same time. Emily Schmidt reports on what this means for your screens moving forward.
Just as Hollywood started a summer of fantasy, a strike proving movie making is real business.
Hollywood is coming to a complete stop.
SAG-AFTRA, which represents about 160,000 actors.
We are the victims here. We are being victimized by a very greedy entity.
Said they had no choice but to strike after 4 weeks of talks fell through, especially on key points like streaming platforms and AI technology.
You cannot change the business model as much as it has changed and not expect the contract to change too.
In an interview before the strike, Disney CEO Bob Iger disputed their argument.
There's a level of expectation that they have that is just not realistic.
The Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers said the union turned its back on a substantial offer and chose a path that will, quote, lead to financial hardship for countless thousands of people who depend on the industry. 11,000 members of the Writers Guild Association have already been walking the picket line for 2 months. The Milken Institute estimates the dual strikes could cause at least $4 billion in global damage. One immediate impact, a senior editor of Variety says, happened as a movie premiere in Europe learned of the Hollywood strike.
As we speak, there's a premiere in London going on of Oppenheimer, and the cast has left the premiere.
A stark Hollywood ending until negotiations begin again. I'm Emily Schmidt, reporting.
Now, Andrew, this is really hard to see when it comes to new movies that they're filming right now. Really a part of this, which I'm not sure if they actually touched on within the package, but when you're an actor, you have certain things that you can do. Like, you could come up with improv lines, and really with this strike, with both sides, actors now have to stick to the script if they're going to be on set at all. And really, some of the best lines in movies come from when actors come up with something in the heat of the moment because they understand their character.
Hopefully this strike doesn't take long, because I would think that would mean, like, if a movie was to come out, like, maybe at the end of the month, they would have to postpone the premiere of that movie probably until the strike ends.
It's not exactly with that, but really it's the creative liberties that they can take with movies. So now they got to keep it kind of like a bookend to each side, and it's difficult to see really what will be happening with movies going forward. But in the meantime, we will stick here with the news. We still have a little bit of time. So Andrew, would you like to talk about what's coming our way next week and over the weekend?
Pretty nice day out there today, as I said, during the weather. Partly sunny skies. Any outdoor activities? Tomorrow we'll start off dry, but we will get some showers and thunderstorms tomorrow afternoon and evening, so keep that in mind if you have any afternoon and evening plans tomorrow. And then Sunday we'll pretty much start with the showers early on the morning, and then we'll dry out for the rest of the afternoon. And looking ahead to next week, temperatures are going to be at average or slightly below average, so a little bit cooler than we have been, which I'm fine with that. I'm not a fan of the 80-degree temperatures and the dew points in the 60s where you take a shower and then 5 minutes later you're sweating again. I don't think anyone's a fan of that kind of warmth.
Not exactly the best. But that's all the time that we have for today, but we will leave you with a live look over Randolph, a cam that we're finally bringing back after this move. We'll see you next time on WNY News Now.